Evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Kernersville Board of Aldermen. Today is Tuesday, August 6th, and we're glad you're joining us here this evening. We'll begin by calling the meeting to order. Next, we'll have an indication by the Reverend Jim Pritchard, Pine Grove Methodist, a global Methodist church.
Holy Father, we bow before you tonight and ask your blessings on us. We give thanks to you for the many gifts and graces that you bestowed upon the many that have gathered here and that serve this community as its leaders. We pray that your Spirit will guide them in the direction that you'd have them go. Keep us in your will and help us to be real servants of one another and to this community so that it can be as good as possible. We do give thanks for all those that are in service here throughout the community in many different areas that they work. We praise you, Lord, for giving us the graces and the strength and the talents that we have so that we can do the things that you've called us into and that you've given us your spiritual gifts to accomplish. So guide our pathways and keep us in your will in all things, we pray through Jesus, our Lord and our Redeemer. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd like to start this meeting by reminding everybody about the Honeybee Festival. It's the longest running festival in the town of Kernersville and a really warm hometown tradition. And it will be held, weather permitting, on Saturday, the 17th of August. Many of you may be remembering times when we had the festival in September, and often there were a lot of conflicts with Saturdays in September, so we moved it back to August, and we found by talking with people who'd been involved in the festival in the 70s that August was the original month for it. But it's a pretty big festival in the community, and so I hope that everyone comes out to enjoy it. All right, we will go on to the public hearings. Our first public hearing is a rezoning. Then we have our second public hearing is rezoning, and then we have a public hearing on a proposed financing. For all three of these matters, we have rules that are posted on the agenda and on the screen and are the practice of the Board of Aldermen. When an agenda item is denoted as a public hearing, persons attending shall be permitted to address the Board of Aldermen regarding the item under consideration, those speaking in favor going first, and those against speaking second. Proponents and opponents shall each be given 20 minutes of time to speak and may choose to allow one speaker to utilize that time or choose to allocate the time amongst different speakers. In the event that either proponents or opponents have not designated a speaker or speakers to represent that view, the mayor shall divide the 20 minutes by the number of speakers wishing to address the board, and each such speaker shall be allowed that given time within which to express his or her comments, ideas, and concerns. After the opponents speak, the mayor will allow the proponents 5 minutes for rebuttal. If the proponents choose to exercise this option, the opponents will also have a 5-minute rebuttal. In the event the proponents do not present a rebuttal, the opponents shall be given no further time to speak. All right, again, public hearings. The first one is item 1A. It's rezoning. Curtis Swisher, agent for the town of Kernersville, requested general rezoning from GCA Ag GC, which is Guilford County, RS 40, to Kernersville IP, Town of Kernersville Institutional and Public, for property located at 9414 West Market Street, containing a total of 1.76 acres, zoning docket K 817. Ms. Garner?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight's first rezoning is for the property that is commonly known as the Colfax Fire Station. So that's why Curtis Swisher is the applicant on behalf of the town. And this is a request to rezone from Guilford County zoning to Kernersville zoning following the annexation. We're proposing institutional and public for the the zoning district. The current zoning is Guilford County Agricultural and Guilford County RS40, and proposed zoning would be institutional and public. It's surrounded by other Guilford County Agricultural and other Guilford County RS40, and then Guilford County Limited Industrial and Heavy Industrial across Market Street, and RS40 and Limited Business also to the west. So it's a changing node there at the corner of Bunker Hill and West Market Street. The institutional and public zoning district is intended to accommodate public and institutional uses which have limited land use impact or traffic generation potential upon surrounding uses. It is intended to accommodate smaller, less intensive public and institutional uses which have concentrated service areas and are located in or near residential areas, or larger, less intensive recreational or institutional facilities in rural areas. And it is consistent with town facilities in Kernersville. The table on the screen shows the uses that are allowed with institutional and public, and it does include a small mix of residential and then a lot of the institutional uses that it is named for. The land use plan is currently rural residential, which is defined as intended to provide residents and visitors with views of rural vistas and scenic open space by accommodating agricultural uses, large parcel, residential development, open space, and conservative subdivisions. It does also reference that rural crossroad communities such as Colfax may combine residential, commercial, and institutional uses in a rural setting. So staff finds that the rural residential land use plan designation supports the institutional and public zoning district. So just the brief history, it was annexed in October of last year. And then post-annexation, the parcel zoning does need to be updated in order to match the zoning designations as recognized by the town of Kernersville. And this location is also governed by the Highway Corridor Overlay District, and any future changes to the property would be subject to those requirements. This was heard at the June Planning Board meeting, and Planning Board and staff both recommend approval of the request to change the zoning ordinance by rezoning the property, in this case, from Guilford County RS40 and Guilford County Ag to Town of Kernersville Institutional and Public, finding the rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan and both reasonable and in the public interest because the institutional and public zoning district is consistent with the land use plan, and the parcels need to have a zoning designation that's consistent with the zoning districts as recognized by the Unified Development Ordinance. It was unanimous of all members present at that June Planning Board meeting, and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
This is a public hearing. I'll declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone here in opposition? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed.
Madam Mayor, there being no questions, I'd make a motion that we approve the request to change the zoning ordinance of the town of Kernersville by rezoning the property, case K 817, from GCRS 40 and GCAG to TOK IP. This rezoning being consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and further being both reasonable and in the public interest for the reasons recited within the staff recommendations.
Second.
All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, moving on to item B, another rezoning. Brandon Devlin, agent for applicant, requesting a single-phase conditional rezoning from mixed-use conditional for property located at 1152 Solomon Drive, zoning docket K 719A6. Ms. Garner?
This next case, case 719A6, is a single-phase conditional rezoning for Whataburger. Brandon Devlin is the representative. He's with the engineering firm, but the property owner is Kernersville First LLC. And the zoning request is from mixed-use conditional to mixed-use conditional because the zoning worked, but the site plan that was adopted for Smithfields didn't. So they are looking to keep the zoning, keep the conditions from the original Smith Crossing development, but have an amended site plan adopted as part of this rezoning request. The property is located southeast of the intersection of Solomon Drive and Union Cross Road. It's the last vacant parcel there along Union Cross in the Smith Crossing development. Surrounding properties are zoned mixed-use special on the north and east side, and neighborhood shopping center special across Jag Branch Boulevard. That's the Food Lion Shopping Center. And then across Union Cross Road, which is Forsyth County's jurisdiction, that is Forsyth County General Business Special. The land use plan designates this site as mixed use, which is defined in the land use plan as established to accommodate a variety of uses, which may range from residential, commercial, office, and industrial uses. The Smith Crossing Shopping Center as a whole has several of those uses between residential, commercial, and offices with the doctor's office there and the storage facility. So it has a mix of uses, especially with the shopping center adjacent to it. As I mentioned briefly, the site was originally rezoned as part of K719, which was the original Smith Crossing rezoning. That rezoning contained a number of conditions that limited uses and maintains interconnection of the site. All of K719 has been approved for development or developed according to these conditions. And this lot was previously rezoned for Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue, which was K719A4. This rezoning was a single-phase conditional rezoning, which limited the uses on this particular parcel to restaurant with drive-through service, and the site plan was approved with that rezoning. The proposed site plan now consists of one building with a 2-lane drive-through, and the site will still be accessed from Solomon Drive and Jag Branch Boulevard. So there will be no connections, no additional connections to Union Cross. No conditions from K719 have been changed, and the permitted use has not changed from the Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue rezoning request. It's just their site plan didn't work for Whataburger. They are proposing an enhanced 35-foot street yard with 3-foot stone wall along Union Cross Road to be consistent with the parcels that have developed on the north side of Solomon Drive. And the street yards on Jag Branch Boulevard and Solomon Drive shall be 10-foot in width and conform to the landscaping standards in the UDO. And the elevations are required to meet the Highway Corridor Overlay District. We have reviewed these and we find that they are consistent. They have made some modifications to make them consistent, but they have been reviewed as part of the rezoning request. This was also heard at the July Planning Board, and Planning Board and staff recommend approval to amend the UDO by rezoning this property in case 719.A6 from mixed-use conditional to mixed-use conditional, finding the rezoning is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan and being both reasonable and in the public interest because of the following. Number one, the requested use complies with the original rezoning's vision of a commercial node on Union Cross Road, has ample connection to the rest of the site through an appropriate sidewalk and road network. Two, the sidewalk or the site plan and the building elevations show consistency with the rest of the Smith Crossing development. And number three, the proposed use of restaurant with drive-through service does not deviate from the previously approved site plan. Planning Board and staff also recommend approval of the site plan and the conditions as presented in the staff report. And the vote was also all members voting in favor with one absent in July.
Thank you, Catherine. This is a public hearing. I'll declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed.
I have no questions. I would motion to approve per staff recommendations.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson,
Second.
second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, next we are to the public hearing on the financing. Mr. Swisher, will you introduce this item?
Yes, you have in your packet memo outlining financing. This is one of the financing packets that has to go to the LGUC. This is for the improvements that was approved in the 24-25 operating budget. It includes the irrigation system at the Paul J. Senior Botanical Garden, some renovations to the Police Administration Office Suite, and then the bay roof replacement at Station 41. We put it out to bid. You can see we had 5 banks bid on that. Capital One, the total loan cost, Capital One was about $1,500 less than everyone, but that was contingent upon them getting both this loan and the equipment loan. And they were not the low bidder on the equipment loan. I think they were about $28,000 higher on that. So we're recommending to go with Pinnacle Financial Partners, interest rate 4.31%, and total cost of the loan $665,000.
This is a public hearing. I'll declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Any questions?
I have no questions. I would motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson,
Second.
second by Alderman Penix. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, moving on to, actually, I'll give the clerk a moment to finish the paperwork on this item. All right, moving on to the public session. Our first item is speakers from the floor. We have Mr. Don Martin signed up to speak.
Thank you.
Curtis, could you make sure his microphone's on?
That good? Yeah, I'm Don Norton, 1030 Madamwood Drive in Kernersville, here. And I just stopped by and picked up a report here. There's a lot of discrepancies there, or just plain errors, but that's okay. First of all, it says here victim number 1. It gives the name of the fellow. Well, I don't know how he was a victim, because he owned 2 big dogs that came down in my yard, chased us in the house, or my wife, and I was back in the house, and she was calling me. I go down.
Mr. Martin, could I stop you there for a moment? Mr. Swisher, I'm not sure if this is within what's allowed for speakers from the floor, if you could advise, since it appears to be a police matter.
I'm sorry, tell me again.
It's just a question to the town manager. All right, then please proceed. I just wanted to make sure we were in order. Please go on.
Okay. All right. Is this okay, or am I talking too loud?
It's perfect.
The date is right on it, but anyway, our name is not on here. And instead of it starting at whatever address is up here, it started at 1030 Madamwood Drive at our house. And instead of it starting at 1 o'clock, it started about 11:30. So that wasn't just the start of it. That sort of ended up being the end of it. So I was back down in the house. Now, if I ramble on, using too much time, you let me know. But my wife's name Agatha, and she called me, and geez, sounded like she was all upset. And I go down into the kitchen and the den, and she's sitting there just shaking, And all she could do was, pointing. Well, there was this big black dog sitting right here going, oh my goodness, what we got going on here? Well, I thought, well, maybe I'd close the door and she'd go on. Or he, I don't know. I don't know the gender. I don't know if it's a bitch or son to a bitch. But anyway, I closed the door. Then I opened the door. Well, it's still there, Well, I just closed the door, and after a while, it went on around and got in the side yard and did her business, and so did the other dog. But what really started this, Agatha was outside, and she was going in the carport, and here came the dogs. Well, she backs into the carport about 12 feet away. Well, lucky, we got steps about like this. I got a guardrail, so at least she didn't run. She backed in up the steps and into the den. So she's standing there, and here's all these globs of things on both legs. And lucky, she usually wears Bermuda shorts, and she had on trousers that day. And here's all these globs of slobber or spit. I said, what's that? She said, well, she backed me in the carport, And all that stuff is where she was grabbing at me. God, I can't imagine what it was if she wasn't wearing those pants. Well, anyway, I thought, well, I'll just go out, see if I can get in the truck, and I'll drive around in the backyard. Maybe they'll go back there and leave. Well, no, that was fun, The one was there jumping up about this high, talking to me. Dog talk, I'd like to have a little bit of meat on, man. Or maybe as old as you are, maybe I'll get me a little jerky, She would come, for fun, She was hungry. She wanted meat, I guess. So if I need to tone it down, I can. But then here, the brown dog backed her up. He was barking, and she was growling and slinging slobber. So anyway, I drove to the backyard, and all that was just fun. They were jumping up and down, or the black one was. And I guess she got tired of that, so she went next door, and she was trying to jump in that fence. It's a wood fence, and she was hitting this fence and shaking. And then that dog got upset. And the lady that called was Miss Wardick. And she lives at 1026 instead of 1035. But anyway, she gets her dog in the house. Well, then they go across the street diagonal. And it's a big German Shepherd lives over there, minds his own business. I go over and give him treats, and we chat a little. Well, man, he was upset. And the lady that lives there, or the lady that I don't know her, but the lady there was trying to get her dog, and, she was holding the German Shepherd back, and, they're like this far apart. Well, time or two, she didn't fell on the ground, and hell, the dog was her dog, not attacking her. She finally got her dog around the corner, and they went to the house and went out of sight. So then they come back across the road to the house on the other side of me. And so then out there in the yard running around, I guess they could see in the full view door like mine, and they were talking to the little old teeny dog there, see, like it was out. So anyway, I guess they get bored or tired of that. And so they go around, they go down I didn't see this. It's just what the neighbor told me. They were out in the pool, but they got a fence, so the dogs was down there, talking to them. So they get the grandkids and get in the house. And I don't know if it's that time, but they've been down before, and they have this old pet chicken. I know this, it's not important, but it was to those people. And they go back out, and the dogs finally left. Now, it's the previous time. And they go out there, and old Henrietta's laying out there dead. They gave her a death sentence, I guess. Well, anyway, when the police was out there, here came, that was about 1 o'clock. Here came, I assume it was, I've never even met the fella, the neighbor up there. And incidentally, I think they're just outside the city limits. It says here resident, but that's all right. It says he was a victim. Yeah, a victim. Well, anyway, it was his dogs that was having fun, I guess, chasing two old people. Am I boring you, sir? Am I boring you?
I'd like to continue. You're close to out of time, so please continue.
Well, I'm almost out of time too many ways. Hell, I'm 84 years old, and dogs are trying to shorten my time, So I've already been told 3 or 4 times to shut up, one way or the other, so I'll do it and go on. So what I'll do, if a town will just pick up my garbage, turn on my street lights, I'll take good, make absolutely sure that I'm going to protect my wife. We've been together dating for about 70 years and married. So I'd be a pretty damn sorry husband if I let her get eat up, me run. So I was told to not, whatever I do, not use the word kill, so I'm not going to use it. But they've been down, the dogs have been down before, and they're going to be back. So what I'm going to do, I went down here to the sports shop, and I was actually told it's not a good idea to even use a gun. So I went down here to the sports store, and I got me a dog eliminator, or one that can immediately send them to heaven if they've been good. If they hadn't been good, then I'll just send them straight to hell. Either way, see, that's beyond me, see.
Mr. Martin,
But I'm going to
if you
shut
could
up
get
and
back
go.
onto the point. So your concern is that there's a police report that's not accurate?
Well, what?
Your concern is there's a police report that's not accurate? Or your concern is these dogs will come back?
Well, I really don't know, because I came up here to get a copy of the police report. And see, it's closed. See, I can't find out what's in the police report.
Is there a trial date or something? Could y'all explain to me?
No,
I asked Mr. Swisher, I asked you
no,
about
it's-
this when we
no,
started
it's
this.
done. I'm
Mr. Martin,
supposed
if you could hang on for just a minute.
Okay.
I think I spoke to Mr. Martin briefly when he came in, and I think he has some neighborhood dogs, I guess they're neighborhood dogs, that maybe came after his wife, and him and his wife,
Yes, Agatha.
whatnot. And so evidently, in the report, the victim's name, I think the reason the victim is listed as the victim is they're probably the one that called, not necessarily Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin may have actually been the victim, but I don't know that Mr. Martin called.
So is the dog owner listed as the victim?
No, I think
It's
it was
that other neighbor.
Another
Okay.
lady, another neighbor. So I think the best solution maybe tonight to keep from Mr. Martin maybe sending the dogs one way or the other is to have Chief Tilley or Captain Merritt's talk with Mr. Martin tonight and try to resolve that situation. We might be able to go over and speak to the dog owners tomorrow and kind of let them know if they don't have their dogs put up, they may not have any dogs to put up. I think that's probably the best way to handle that.
Would that be okay
Now.
with you, Mr. Martin, to talk to?
Martin?
if we're gonna have the captain, if it's okay with you, have the captain right back there in the back.
Do you,
Get with you tonight and see if we can come over
Dawn.
tonight or tomorrow and maybe resolve the issues with the dogs before you
Oh, okay.
attack them
Well,
with the dog whipping.
I'll be glad to talk to him. I guess it's resolved, you know,
Yeah, we want to make sure
we
it's
run in the
resolved.
house.
We don't really want you to get in trouble for, we don't want you to get in trouble for, sending the dogs one way or the other, so we'll have him go talk to the dog owners if that'll work for you.
Well, I think they've already talked to him out there that day, and then the dog owners jumped in front and talked to the police. So I was told that hell, it's settled, it's done, over.
We may have to get the animal control involved from the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office.
Well, I did wrong to start with, because I called the 911. You ain't supposed to do that. They said call the sheriff's. And he gave me the number. I called that, and they said, we'll send animal control. Well, see, maybe an hour goes on, and nothing, not anything happens. But I called back the sheriff's department. They said, well, now you've already reminded me I was tying up the phone. Said, you've already called once, you don't have to call twice, see? So I did just, what I was supposed to do.
Captain Merritt is going to work, we're going to help you resolve this problem. Okay? We're going to work with you to resolve this issue.
Well, it might help if they love their little dogs. They won't go to heaven early or end up in doggy hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And actually, I might act like I'm a crazy, stupid old man, but this has gone on and on out there for 60 years. Different people. Same old stuff. Chows chewed up my little dog, chased us in the house. After a while, you just get damn fed up,
yeah, it's unfortunate that Kernersville doesn't have our own animal control. We work with the animal control through Forsyth County, but the officers in Kernersville will work with them with you.
In this case, an old man, or old ass in the house if you want to get up. I mean, that's the.
Yeah, I'm sorry that was your experience that day. That's not a Kernersville department, but we'll try and help you out.
How I feel about it. Well, see, the lovely little dogs, when they sleep with them, that don't mean that I need to step back and they can step in. That off of my lady, derriere, but it's perspective. I'm just the other side of the story.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all the time we have for speakers from the floor. So we'll move on to item 2B in the public session, consideration of a downtown event request and a temporary street closure request by the Kernersville Arts and Crafts Guild. Mr. Swisher?
Yes, ma'am. You have in your packet the event application. It's for the Kernersville Arts and Crafts Guild. It's an event on August the 24th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they are asking to close Harmon Lane, this side of Mr. Edwards' driveway up to Main Street. Done it for years, always been a good event. Never had any issues with it.
Okay, but we need to vote to do so.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move approval.
I've got a motion by Alderman Penix. I've got a second by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item C, Mr. Swisher.
Item C is another downtown event. It is not the Declan's Dash. It is another 5K that's using the same course as the Declan's Dash. This is the second year we've hosted this event. It is the Nailed It 5K. It's a pumpkin run and 1 mile fun run and walk. It will be on October the 26th. They did it last year in the morning, I think. This year it's in the afternoon. And it is the Trad Regional Home Builders Association that's doing the event. This year they will have trunk or treat. They'll have a beer garden. They'll have the 5K. All of that, of course, is listed on the application. It was a very good event last year. Worked out well. We don't anticipate any problems this year. And of course, we use the same protocols that we use for other events there at Harmon Park that serve alcohol. We've not had any issues with any of them to this point. I think they will partner with a local brewery. Instead of going out and doing their own ABC license and everything, they'll partner with a local brewery to do that, similar to what the town has done for events that we put on there at the park.
I'd like to have the online agenda corrected for that typo, for the temporary road closure
Okay, yeah, we'll.
after the
change
meeting.
that. Yep.
All right, and then a motion to, if there's a motion to approve, it would be for a temporary road closure for the Home Builders Association downtown event.
Correct.
Madam Mayor, I so move.
Got a motion by Alderman Apple, second by Alderman Gorham.
Second, yes.
All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item D, Mr. Swisher.
Item D is the first budget amendment of the year, and I am, unless you ask me to, I'm not going through all of these. As you all are aware, the first one of the years is always the largest. It is all of the items that were budgeted in the previous fiscal year. They were budgeted, ordered, and they've not came in, so we have to roll the money back over into this fiscal year to cover those. This particular one, we've got a lot of grant money in it. Grant money that was awarded for land purchase at Ivory Redmond Park, as well as some other grant money. So there are a lot of expenditures in this particular budget amendment. And while we don't like to carry over this much, it's just the nature of the beast right now with it taking so long to do projects and so long to get in equipment that we order. As I told you all, when we ordered when we had new items in the budget this year, I think the police Tahoes are taking about a year to 2 years to get in. Garbage trucks about a year. As you all may remember, the fire rescue truck that was budgeted was 2.5 to 3 years. All of those items have to be carried over from year to year in the budget. So it's about, I think, $5.9 million or whatever, but you'll see it reflected in the general fund. We'll show in fiscal year 23-24, our expenses will be that much less. Then in 24-25, they'll go back up and they'll be that much higher than what was previously budgeted. But, there's really no other way to do it unless we just say, hey, it was in the budget, but we're just not going to order it and do it at a later point. But so that's in there. If you have any questions in particular of any items, I'll be glad to cover those, but I won't go through all of them.
And the museum department is because the Kernersville Museum is now a town entity.
Correct.
So that would be a new department in the town.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Is that going to be within Parks and Rec?
Right now, it's under HR. While we're doing, working through the renovations at the Moore's house, while we're doing that, because it's kind of split among departments, so Crystal's handling it right now. While we're cataloging those items and getting it set up and ready to go, it'll be under HR, and then once we decide what we're going to do and we hire an employee, get on down the road a little bit, we'll decide where it's going to permanently stay as far as the department where that person will
I
report.
could see it making sense in general services too.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 or 3 different departments doing it. As you mentioned, general services, kind of Parks and Recs, historic, and all of that. So it kind of ended up, and with Crystal, and she's done a great job with it, meeting with the museum board and everything so far. We have gotten the walls removed in the Moore's house. The board approved the money to go in and remove the walls, remove the ceiling to kind of see where we were as to which walls we could take out. So if you look in the window now, you'll see that it's just studs up for the walls, and basically the ceiling is gone. Of course, the ceiling was in pretty bad shape to begin with, and we were going to have to remove it at some point. So we're meeting this week, I think, to get an idea of which walls can be permanently removed to open it up, and then get a cost on what it's going to be to kind of go in and do all of that. So we'll get back to you all on that at some point, probably in the next month or so.
Are there any other questions? We need to vote on that still, right? Okay, do I have a motion? Got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson, second by Alderman Apple. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, we are to item E. Mr. Swisher, if you could explain the voting process for items E and F, and if you
Yeah, these
have on your
are,
list that there's any conflicts.
yeah, these are all nonprofit entities that the board approved funding for in the fiscal year 24-25 budget. There is one that needs to come out because Alderman Penix is on that board. That's the Historic Preservation Society. So if you will pull that one out in item E and then vote on all of the other ones, he will be able to vote on those. And then you all can go back and vote on the Historic Preservation Society, and Alderman Penix will need to abstain from voting on that one. And the same thing, item F, those are the entities that are funded through the occupancy tax. You can vote on all of those at once. There's not any board member that sits on any of those boards.
Okay, is there any question or discussion? This would be, I need a motion for the Arts Council, the Chamber of Commerce contract, the Kernersville Auto Museum, Kernersville Little Theater, Crossroads Playhouse, Next Step, Salvation Army, Senior Services, and Shepherd Center contracts.
And crisis control.
I don't see it on the list.
They're right under the chamber.
On my, here. Would you like to look? Well, it's listed, but I don't see the contract. The attachment's not there. Can we add the attachment later then?
We can, yes. And they will be funded in the amount of,
I read the highlighted, I read the attachments list and not the,
yeah, they will receive $10,000 if the board approves it.
all right. So all of those plus crisis control, and we'll update the website to include that contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make such a motion and to include crisis control.
Got a motion by Alderman Apple. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay. Let's see, I guess we don't need a motion to, yes, we do. We need a motion. Do I have a motion to excuse Mr. Pitnix from this next?
Madam Mayor, just a quick note, if you check back on the website, if you may have to refresh it, but if you check back, you should see that crisis control on the website. And you'll actually also see the revised, if you wanted to look, you could see the revised version of the 5K as well.
It's not here, Keith. Would you like to come see?
Give me just a second. Okay, now it should be there, but you may have to refresh.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Adam. Here it is. All right, we are
Need to make a
still
motion.
on item E,
Yeah.
and now we're going to do a motion to excuse Mr. Penix
Okay,
from voting.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that Alderman Joe Penix be accused from voting on I guess, the nonprofit that he's involved in.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, the next item is the historic preservation contract. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson, second by
Second.
Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. Please return, Joe. All right, we are to F. And Curtis, did you have anything additional to say in the?
Madam Mayor, a quick point on the original vote for all the contracts except the Historic Preservation Society. Who had the motion and who had the second?
I made a motion. Oh, no.
Bill
No, I
had,
made a motion.
no, on the first one. You want to know who had them on the first?
The one approving the contracts except for the Historic Preservation Society.
And I think Alderman Apple made the second, I believe. Yes. And Madam Mayor, I don't have anything on item F. Everybody's good on those.
Okay, so we have attachments for the Chamber of Commerce, occupancy tax, Kernersville Little League, and Kerner's Folly. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson,
Second.
second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, Mr. Swisher, back to you for more on the Big Mill Farm Road interchange.
Yeah, I think we left it last month, that we would try to get some information from DOT regarding the black vinyl chain link fencing. And you have in your packet, and I think Catherine can pull it up, the other one on there's one that's linked on the agenda. Oh. So you have the map in your packet, and I'll do my best to explain to you where those are, and then Catherine probably have to help me out because she can read the map better than me. But essentially, the red area, the first one in that picture to the north, is right around the house at Wexford. Is that correct? And then the one a little further south, where is that one, Catherine?
I don't know the street name off the top of my head, but this is where, I think this is where Big Mill Farm kind of ends and turns. This goes into a subdivision, and this is the last stretch right before 421.
Yeah, and to the left of that, the reason we are recommending it there to the left of that red line is it's the subdivision as you go into Wexford, and Bill, you probably know which one it is. You turn up into the left, and it's that area right there. I think it's that subdivision, a short stretch. And then on the other map, the last map you have in your packet, we're recommending it where it's red, and then I think right across from that. Is that correct? It just
That's
doesn't
correct.
show up.
Both of the locations next to Lowe's and Kohl's, where it will be right along the sidewalk.
Yeah, so we did it kind of in areas right along the sidewalk, in those areas. It worked out to be, as a memo in your packet, it worked out to be about 1,800 feet. The regular chain link fence is $25 per linear foot. Black vinyl chain link fence is $60, so they'll give us the credit of $25, which means we'll pay $35 per linear foot. So that'll be a total cost of about $63,000 for that black vinyl chain link fence if the board approves it. There was also a question asked about the medallions, the end caps on the bridges. You have in your packet basically a basic medallion, what one looks like, is $2,000 installed. And so there are two end caps on the bridge, so that would be 4 medallions in total. If you choose one similar to this, meaning that it's, it's not real intricate in the design, it's one color, it should be about $2,000. Now, if you went with something like the town seal, it's got a lot of design work to it. You've got the whiskey barrels, you got the church, you got multiple colors. No idea what that would be. So if you know tonight, yes, we want these medallions. If you have an idea of which one you want, we can send a picture of that back to DOT and say, hey, what would this price be? If you want to think about it, come up with a couple of different options, we can get those options priced. If you don't want either the seal or the logo, either one, but you want something else. We've seen, pine cones, dogwood trees, things like that, then you just let us know. But we would, really to get a price on it, we would need to know what it is that you want.
I wonder if there's some merit to looking at the tulip poplar, like that would,
That what?
the tulip poplar, because that's the symbol for the gardens, which is a town entity now.
That's up to the board. If y'all want, you don't have to let me know tonight. If you want to vote tonight on the fencing, and then I think you could probably, we can let them know on the medallions. I mean, we don't need to drag it out long, but certainly at some point in time, we need to let them know. We did ask them about going back. I think Alderman Thompson had asked about the ones on Salisbury Street, the bridge that's there. We spoke to Connie James. She's not sure, A, if they can go back and retrofit them for those end caps. She's not sure. And B, if they can, she doesn't know exactly what that price will be. So she will get us that information and let us know. So definitely if you want to do these medallions, you would want to do them when they're doing that bridge. But I don't think it's not real pressing that you let me know tonight. The most pressing one probably so that they can get all the supplies and everything ordered is the fence. There will be, I'll show you, I think the board, Catherine, if you'll pull up the email I sent you. The wall, I went out and looked because there was some discussion last month about the wall. And I think the board chose that wall. That is the wall option. That's what's on Mountain Street. If you go west on Mountain Street at Pisgah Church, that is the wall on Mountain Street. Now, I think it's option 2. That is the wall on Salem Parkway as you cross under Hastings Hill Road. So the other ones are sloped. They don't have any pattern to them. They're just solid concrete. So and you got to keep in mind the wall that you will see, you'll be on Salem Parkway when you see it because the Big Mill Farm will cross over Salem Parkway. So you'll be looking at the wall as you're on Salem Parkway, not as you're on the Beltway. So if you want one similar to what's on Salem Parkway, it would be that one and not option number 1. Doesn't matter. I don't think it really matters in the big scheme of things. I think if you all think option number 1 looks better, they've used it. Like I say, it's on the bridge as you go under at Pisgah Church. I went up the Beltway. All of the walls on the Beltway that are visible are just the sloped solid concrete. There's no pattern walls to that. So that would be up to you all. I think you chose option 1 last month. If you want to stay with option 1, that one, we'll tell DOT that's the one you've chosen. I just wanted to update you all on that because that was brought up last month.
Madam Mayor?
I think we should stay with option 1. I've been looking at it, and that option 2 is also the walls that are like Bryan Boulevard and that kind of thing. It's just looks real institutional looking. And this is consistent with Mountain Street, so that's good. As to the medallion, I have it as a factor that we all liked option 1 last month. This was the one we all thought would look the best. And then on the medallions, I'd like to have different options priced. I'd like to see what a full color medallion looked like. I'm just saying if we have to go with an outline, there's the skyline of the Folly, but also I think the tulip poplar has merit.
Madam Mayor, just for point of clarification, we're talking about the seal. Is the seal what you see as you're crossing the bridge? Yeah, but I mean, do you see it on the ends?
No, you would see it as you're going down the highway.
Okay.
It would be on those end caps.
Okay.
You know how I don't think Catherine, can you pull up that presentation? Number 4 probably, slide 4. See the end cap on, kind of in the middle there?
Yes.
The grass median?
Yes.
It would be on that end cap of that bridge.
Okay.
And you would see it, as you're going That is actually the Salisbury Street Bridge. This one, I think, will have, we think, she said it would be 2 end caps. We're assuming it's basically 2 beams. It may just be like that and have 2 end caps. So we're either going to have 2 or 4 on it, I'm not sure. But yes, it's what you would see. You wouldn't see it crossing the bridge. You would see it going down Salem Parkway.
Thank you.
And it may be easier if you all have different options you would like to see, if you would just email me the different options you would like for us to check on, the price as far as the medallions go, and I'll put those together in a list and send it to DOT.
My opinion on the seal is it's way too intricate to see driving 65 miles an hour down Salem Park.
I agree.
You're not
I
gonna
don't-
see all that. I mean, I had to look up there to see where the barrels you're talking about. I remember the barrels, but I had to look up there to see them. I
Yeah.
can't imagine trying to see that riding 60 miles an hour.
You're not gonna see it real
Right.
good.
I mean, I think Rick, Mr. Dappin even brought up the logo that we have now on all the town trucks. That would make a lot more sense to me. I agree with the tulip poplar. My concern with the tulip poplar is what happens if 20 years the garden's not there and we got a tulip poplar on our bridge. That'd be my only concern.
We also have a lot of tulip poplars at our parks too,
Sure.
so,
I agree with that.
I mean,
But-
compared to putting, say, a dogwood.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm happy to email you. Thank you.
Yeah, just shoot me an email if y'all want to vote tonight on whether or not to do the black vinyl chain link fence. We'll get all that. I think you voted last month on the other options. We'll get all that back to DOT. And I'll let her know that yes, we do want to do some medallions. We're getting together a list of some possibilities for them to price.
I wasn't sure if you want us to vote on the chain link fence right now.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the chain link fence? Got a motion by Alderman Thompson,
Second.
second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And then email you about the design for the
Yes, ma'am.
medallion? Okay.
Just email me some options of something you would like to see us get a price on to do.
Okay, item H, Mr. Swisher.
You have in your packet a memo from Franz Ader to myself. We're wanting the board to declare some property surplus, it's mainly computers, to declare those surplus, and then we would pass those along to the Shepherd Center. We've done this in the past. It's computers that we've taken out of service. They're a little bit older computers, not quite as fast as the newer ones, but we take them out, wipe them clean, and then some of the nonprofits want them, and we'll pass them along to them.
Madam Mayor, I move that we declare the items listed in memo surplus as city manager, town manager has requested.
Got a motion by Alderman Apple,
Second.
second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item I.
Item I is the financing for the equipment that the board approved in the fiscal year 24-25 budget. The total equipment price for all of the equipment is $2,065,400. We put it out to bid. We received it back from 6 banks, with Pinnacle Financial Partners being the lowest bidder on that, and we are recommending to award that to Pinnacle Financial Partners.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Alderman Gorham, second from Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item J.
This is one of the items that was approved in the budget. It is a pickleball true court system. It will allow us to host and conduct any sanctioned indoor pickleball tournaments. And what we're asking is the board to declare a sole source provider for this particular item, with Pickleball United being the sole source provider for this.
Okay, any questions? I think we covered this with the budget discussions. Do I have a motion?
I move approval.
Got a motion by Alderman Penix, got a second from Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item K is the design build for Ivy Redmond.
This is, as you just mentioned, the design build for Ivy Redmond. We advertised for a statement of qualifications for the project, and this is for this, moving on some more with the stream restoration. We received one back, and that was from North State Environmental. They've done work for us in different aspects of town. throughout the years, so we're recommending that the board award the design-build project to North State Environmental. If I'm not mistaken, they did the first part of it too, didn't they, Wendy? Yep. So they did the first part of the stream restoration, and so they will obviously be a great company to work with on this phase of it as well.
So moved.
Got a motion by Alderman Gorham,
Second.
second by Alderman Penix. All in favor? It's unanimous. I have to say they did an excellent job with the first phase of it. All right, item L is the relocation of utility poles.
Madam Mayor, it may be a good idea to continue this item to next month. I think Alderman Barrow was one that had expressed interest in this specifically, so probably good to continue it to when he's here.
We may be able to hear it in our second meeting this month.
Yeah, we can do it the second meeting.
Do we have to continue it to a date certain or just a future agenda?
Just continue it to a future agenda and
Do I
then,
have a motion to continue this item? Motion by Alderman Apple, second by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, item 3 is the consent agenda, but before we go to that, do we need to vote again on the facade for the interchange? Or since we were staying with number 1? Is
no,
it
it's fine.
MSC?
No, y'all said you were staying with number 1, so we're
Okay.
good.
All right. All right, we are to the consent agenda. These matters are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the matter will be removed, considered under the following item. A, approval of minutes for the May 29 closed session. B, approval of minutes for the June 26 regular session. C, approval of minutes for the July 9 regular meeting. D, consideration of a lease with the Kernersville Women's Club. Would anyone like to see these items removed? Anyone from the audience? Staff, citizens, board members? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, Mr. Swisher, we're to the town manager's report.
The only thing I have, Madam Mayor, is need approval from the board if you so choose. One of the houses that the town purchased on Beeson Road, 647 Beeson Road, is the first one as you go down Beeson Road on the left. We would like approval from the board to tear that house down and clean that area up. We've, since the purchase of the house and the land next to it, they've cleaned the land up, got all the brush off of it and all the weeds and vines and kind of spraggly trees. So we are now ready to move on with tearing the house down. I don't probably know more than it is. We can probably tear it down, but if not, we might get an outside contractor. But I think the plan is, isn't it, Ernie, for Will and his guys to tear it down? So if the board will give approval to demolish that house, we will get on that and have it down here in the next couple, 3 weeks, hopefully.
Okay, do I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Got a motion by Alderman Gorham, second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous.
And I do not have anything else.
Mr. Powell.
Madam Mayor, I do not have a report tonight. We do have need for a closed session.
Thank you. All right, matters to be presented by the mayor and board of aldermen. Mr. Thompson.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Apple.
Madam Mayor, I want to take just a second to express my appreciation to Ernie, our Parks and Recreation Director. We recently had an inquiry by a couple of fine young men in the community, one of whom I think is president of the student body at East Forsyth, and another very interested young man who had some questions about pickleball facilities and demand for pickleball facilities in town, supply of pickleball facilities. And Ernie was kind enough to agree to meet with those two young men and myself, and we spent probably an hour, and he was well prepared to go over what we have programmed, what we're doing, the pickleball system that we approved the purchase of tonight. And those young men left, I think, very impressed with how responsive or really proactive the town had been in providing an increasingly popular recreation activity. Left a great impression with the town. I think it was a great encouragement to those young men to continue their desire to be involved in town decisions and provision of town services. So I just want to publicly thank Ernie for his kindness in having that meeting with those young men. They left felt very important, and so I did too, to have heard Ernie's presentation. He did a great job. Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you, Alderman Apple. Alderman Gorham?
No comments.
Alderman Penix?
I have nothing.
All right, it looks like we're to the closed session, but I do want to thank the Kernersville Fire Department and Beeson's Crossroads Volunteer for an excellent ceremony acknowledging the two departments coming together and working together. And if you haven't had a chance to see the alerting system in the fire stations, it's really impressive. And, you know, people don't think about the use of technology and how that impacts the delivery of the public services, but we've really used the technology well, and thanks to our IT department for setting the groundwork for that, and Chief Alderman for being innovative in how you view the role of our department. We appreciate all those efforts. Your deputy chiefs did a great job as well with the ceremony and with the groundwork to make it happen. So the renovation turned out awesome, and I think the citizens will be well served for many years to come. The calls that Station 42 has been dispatched on have increased substantially with that location. It clearly is the right place for Kernersville to be for the future. So, all right, do I have a motion to have a closed session?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I hereby make a motion pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A3, to enter into a closed session to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Gorham, second by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. All in favor? It's unanimous. This meeting is now in closed session. Thank you.
did that guy come from?
All right, are we ready, Adam? Good evening and welcome back to the regular meeting of the Kernersville Board of Aldermen. I'll call this meeting back to order. Is there any further business? Well, hang on just a minute. We'd also like to take a moment to wish Joe and Kay Penix a happy anniversary. Thank you for being here, Joe, on your anniversary night. And thank you, Kay, for supporting the town of Kernersville in the many endeavors. We appreciate you and wish you a happy anniversary. And I understand 57 years. 57 years. All right, is there any further business before the board this evening? Can I have a motion to adjourn? Got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Thompson, second by Alderman Gorham. All in favor? It's unanimous. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for joining us.